Trains are some of the oldest means of transportations that are still operating to this very day. They got their first passengers in the 1800s, which makes them closer to centuries in business. While most people nowadays use planes, and sometimes they even go through places that no other vehicle would go through. In fact, sometimes the railway tracks are positioned across places where you never thought you could visit. Today we're going to be looking at 10 of the most dangerous railway tracks in the world. Everything on this list will make you wonder why someone would build a railway track in such places. Perhaps some of these will call to the adventurous spirit in you to go and venture on your own train ride across a very challenging terrain. Or maybe some will inspire you to, stay home. It's safer. Make sure you have a look at number 1, though. It's a place where you could have never imagined you could go. Not even inside of a train. With all that said and done, let's begin, shall we? Number 10. Chennai Ramaswaram, India. If you've ever been to India or have at least considered visiting, you are probably aware of how popular trains are in this country. In fact, they actually have some of the longest train journeys in the world. One of them lasts 85 hours and brings you across the country for more than 4,000 kilometers. On the other hand, they also have some of the most dangerous train rides in the world, but that only adds to the excitement of the experience. And that's the case of the train that travels between the cities of Chennai and Ramaswaram. This train goes above the water on a 2.3 kilometer long bridge. It's high enough for ships and ferries to pass underneath, but sometimes the water levels get too high and then the railways get flooded. On top of that, strong winds and intense weather conditions threaten what could easily have been a peaceful ride across the ocean. For that reason, these trains slow down to a speed of 4 meters per second, avoiding any possible incidents. Number 9. Train to the Clouds, Argentina and Chile. Next on our list is a railway that took 27 years to be built. It is the absolutely famous and the most mispronounced name for me currently, Tren a Lanús, which runs from the city of Salta in Argentina all the way to Polvoril in Chile, traveling for 217 kilometers. This train has existed since 1948, and its name, which in English means train to the clouds, derives from the fact that it travels through 29 bridges and 21 tunnels while staying at more than 4,000 meters above sea levels. It definitely feels like you're in the clouds the whole time. Not the best train ride for those who are afraid of heights. Number 8. Nose of the Devil, Ecuador. Would you go on a ride if they tell you you're going to the Nose of the Devil? It seems like it's quite a famous journey for adventurers in South America. This train that takes you on such a ride is the Transandean Railroad as it passes through a mountainous area of Ecuador, near the Alasi village. These mountains keep the train from having a smooth ride, and for that reason, the Ecuadorian government made a railway track in the shape of a zigzag going up to 500 meters while traveling for about 12 kilometers. Okay, that might be a little confusing, but what I'm trying to tell you here is that the train goes up just a short distance, but it actually feels a lot longer because of all the zigzag turns. The train pretty much starts moving vertically, and it feels like you're going to fall out of it. If that doesn't sound dangerous enough, some brave passengers even opt for riding on the roof of the train to get the most out of the train ticket. Number 7. Cape Town's crimes and public transportation, South Africa. Alright, not all the dangers on this list have to do with geography. In the case of Cape Town, South Africa, the railway turns dangerous due to the actions of other human beings. For the past couple of years, there have been a high crime rate on public transportation. 1 out of 10 train routes get cancelled on a daily basis due to thefts and assaults. The local authorities have tried to stop the chaos by increasing the penalties for those who commit such evil actions. However, such a punishment obviously isn't enough. For that reason, there is now a railway police that seeks to decrease crime-related incidents in the future. Number 6. Georgetown Loop, USA. Of all the states in the US, there's one that is very connected to nature. That's the state of Colorado. Some of the best landscapes and unspoiled pieces of land are in this area. Also, this state is home to a very old and quite dangerous railway, the Georgetown Loop. This railway was built back in the 1800s and it goes through the Rocky Mountains. It was the only way to transport silver to and from the mines within this region. The mines were so hard to access and this narrow railway had to be built through a lot of dangerous bridges just to get to them. One of these bridges, which is called the Devil's Gate High Bridge, is suspended about 30 meters above the ground. Despite the danger of it, the railway ran without any major issues all the way until 2004. After that, everything went downhill, with a major incident in 2006 when one of their locomotives got damaged. Today, this railroad is more of a historical treasure rather than a useful way of transporting goods across the mines. Number 5. Mexico's freight trains. Mexico is a beautiful and vast country. With so many places to explore, it only makes sense to look for the most affordable and efficient ways of transportation. There are planes, buses, and of course, there are trains that can take you to your destinations. The same goes for cargo, though. While passenger trains are decent, cargo trains are not as lucky. Crime in Mexico's railways have been bad for a while, and it has just gotten worse in the last couple of years. The most common crime is freight robbery, which happened more than 700 times in a lapse of 3 months in 2017. Veracruz, one of Mexico's main cities, has been the most affected by this issue. There was even a case in which the criminals pulled apart a section of the track and halted the train. Ferromex, which is the largest rail operator in the country, has asked the authorities to suspend operations and solve these problems once and for all, and I don't really know how well that's gonna go, but let's hope it all changes soon enough. Number 4. Death Lagoon, and it's one of the scariest routes in history. In fact, this place was deadly from the moment its construction started. A lot of war prisoners and local people were put to work on it, and they died during the process. This train would ride over fragile suspended tracks with no protection from the ground underneath. As of today, there's still one section of the original line that operates for tourist purposes only. Number 3. Kuranda Scenic Railway, Australia. Queensland, Australia is home to a breathtaking forest landscape. You can find it all within the Barron Gorge National Park. This park is also famous for its railways, which you can ride to travel between Cairns and Kuranda, two of the main cities in Queensland. This scenic ride has existed since the 19th century, and you could not expect a smooth journey considering all the things that you'll find within this landscape. Although the views are out of this world, you gotta keep in mind that this train travels for 37 kilometers, passing through 15 tunnels and a lot of sharp turns. There are also 40 bridges along the way, and you'll pass a lot of cliffs and even waterfalls that will make the train go slow. There have been some accidents in the past, such as a landslide back in 2010 that came unexpectedly after heavy rains poured down over the area. Now it's time for the day's best pick. The picture I have today is one of a train getting hit by strong ocean waves.
Tutok sa palabas, dapat alerto. Kasama ang gabing 100% puro